George Washington, the first president of the United States, was initiated as a Freemason in Fredericksburg Lodge No. 4 in Virginia in 1752. His connection to Masonry is well documented through letters, artifacts, and ceremonies he personally led. Washington often used Masonic principles, brotherhood, moral integrity, and enlightenment to guide his leadership. He laid the cornerstone of the U.S. Capitol in full Masonic regalia in 1793, a ritual symbolizing the moral and civic foundation of the new republic. His apron, presented by the Marquis de Lafayette, remains one of the most treasured Masonic relics in the United States. Washington's commitment to Freemasonry reflected his belief in structured morality, civic duty, and equality among men. Despite rumors of secret political influence, his membership was consistent with the era's Enlightenment ideals. Washington attended lodge meetings throughout his life and saw the fraternity as a unifying moral order rather than a political one. His Masonic values shaped his sense of duty, service, and national unity. Benjamin Franklin was one of the most influential Freemasons in history, using the fraternity's global network to bridge political and cultural divides. He was initiated into St. John's Lodge in Philadelphia in 1731, making him one of the earliest documented Masons in the American colonies. Franklin rose quickly within the ranks, becoming Grand Master of Pennsylvania in 1734. That same year, he printed the first Masonic book in America, The Constitutions of the Freemasons, which spread Masonic philosophy throughout the colonies. His deep belief in rationalism, morality, and self-improvement mirrored the core Masonic values of enlightenment and fraternity. While serving as a diplomat in France, Franklin joined the Lodge of Nine Sisters in Paris, where he met prominent European thinkers, scientists, and revolutionaries who shared his ideals. Freemasonry played a crucial role in his vision of unity and progress, influencing his diplomatic strategies and writings. For Franklin, Freemasonry represented the intellectual brotherhood necessary to advance liberty, education, and scientific discovery across nations. Winston Churchill, Britain's wartime prime minister, joined Freemasonry in 1901 at the age of 26. He was initiated into Studholme Lodge No. 1591 in London, a lodge known for attracting members of Britain's political and military elite. Churchill's initiation took place during his early career as a member of Parliament, and the Masonic principles of discipline, secrecy, and moral integrity aligned closely with his personal philosophy of leadership. Although his attendance at lodge meetings decreased as his political responsibilities grew, Churchill maintained respect for the organization throughout his life. Masonic symbolism, such as the idea of light triumphing over darkness, appeared in several of his wartime speeches, echoing the fraternity's emphasis on moral perseverance. His Masonic apron and membership certificate are preserved by the United Grand Lodge of England. While Churchill never promoted Freemasonry publicly, his involvement reflected his belief in structured brotherhood, self-mastery, and duty to humanity. The values he practiced within the lodge later informed his resilience, diplomacy, and global vision during World War II. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, was initiated as a Freemason in 1911 at Holland Lodge No. 8 in New York City, one of the oldest lodges in America. His family had a long Masonic history. Both his father and distant cousin, Theodore Roosevelt, were also associated with the fraternity. FDR took his Masonic duties seriously, often attending meetings when his schedule allowed and maintaining close contact with other members. He viewed Freemasonry as a moral anchor during times of crisis, particularly through the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt frequently referenced themes of unity, hope, and enlightenment, values rooted in Masonic philosophy. During his presidency, he supported Masonic charities and veteran programs, recognizing their contributions to national welfare. His Masonic ring, which he wore daily, symbolized his belief in brotherhood beyond class or politics. FDR's leadership style, pragmatic, service-oriented, and idealistic, reflected the Masonic principles of self-discipline, public duty, and moral order that guided his vision for rebuilding America. Harry S. Truman, the 33rd President of the United States, was one of the most active Freemasons ever to hold the presidency. Initiated in 1909 at Belton Lodge No. 450 in Missouri, Truman's dedication to the fraternity went far beyond ceremonial involvement. He advanced through the Masonic ranks and was elected Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Missouri in 1940, just 5 years before becoming Vice President. Truman believed that Masonic teachings, truth, justice, and service were essential to moral governance. His speeches often reflected the fraternity's ideals of honesty and brotherhood, emphasizing personal responsibility and civic virtue. During World War II, he met with Masonic leaders worldwide to promote peace and understanding, seeing Freemasonry as a bridge between nations. Truman's office desk displayed Masonic emblems, and he personally participated in lodge ceremonies even while serving as president. He once said Freemasonry made him a better man, crediting its discipline and ethics for shaping his approach to leadership, decision-making, and national integrity. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, one of history's greatest composers, was initiated into the Viennese Masonic lodge Zur Wohltätigkeit, meaning charity, on December 14, 1785. 1984. His membership is not only well documented but deeply intertwined with his creative output. During Mozart's time, Freemasonry in Austria represented Enlightenment ideals, reason, tolerance, and moral virtue, all values reflected in his later works. His opera The Magic Flute, 1791, stands as the most famous musical representation of Masonic symbolism ever written. The story features trials of wisdom, the triumph of light over darkness, and initiation rites that parallel Masonic ceremonies. Mozart also composed several Masonic funeral songs, cantatas, and hymns for lodge events, showing his deep engagement with the Brotherhood's rituals. Within the lodge, he formed friendships with leading intellectuals and reformers who shared a belief in human progress through knowledge and morality. Although Mozart died young, his commitment to Masonic principles influenced not only his art but also his philosophy, the belief that harmony, both musical and moral, was the highest expression of truth. Mark Twain, born Samuel Langhorne Clemens, joined the Freemasons in 1861 when he was initiated into Polar Star Lodge No. 79 in St. Louis, Missouri. At the time, Twain was still an emerging writer and riverboat pilot, and Freemasonry appealed to his curiosity about moral philosophy and the human condition. He quickly absorbed the lodge's teachings about integrity, equality, and self-improvement, values that later became central to his literary work. Although Twain eventually drifted away from regular lodge attendance, his writings consistently reflected Masonic ideals such as honesty, fraternity, and the importance of moral conduct over social status. He also supported the fraternity's charitable goals, frequently donating to causes aligned with Masonic principles. In his personal notes and letters, Twain mentioned that the Masonic ritual left a deep impression on him because it promoted truth through symbolism rather than dogma. His experience within Freemasonry influenced his skeptical but ethical worldview, shaping his lifelong critique of hypocrisy and moral corruption in society while affirming his belief in brotherhood and individual honor. John Wayne, one of Hollywood's most iconic actors, became a Freemason later in life after decades of curiosity about the fraternity's principles. He was initiated into Marion McDaniel Lodge No. 56 in Tucson, Arizona in 1970. Wayne's introduction to Masonry came through close friends in the film industry who were already members of the craft. Despite his busy acting schedule and declining health at the time, Wayne took his Masonic obligations seriously. He attended lodge functions whenever possible and became a supporter of Shriners Hospitals for Children, the Masonic-affiliated organization providing free medical care to children. Wayne admired Freemasonry's emphasis on discipline, loyalty, and moral uprightness, values that mirrored his on-screen persona of integrity and courage. Within the fraternity, he was respected for his humility and generosity rather than celebrity status. His Masonic ring, which he often wore during public appearances, symbolized his commitment to brotherhood beyond fame. John Wayne's association with Freemasonry underscored his lifelong belief in service, personal responsibility, and doing what's right even when it's not easy. Clark Gable, often called the King of Hollywood, was a confirmed Freemason and a member of Beverly Hills Lodge No. 528 in California. He joined during the height of his acting career in the 1930s, a time when Freemasonry was highly regarded among public figures for its moral discipline and sense of fraternity. Gable's decision to join stemmed from his belief in personal integrity, hard work, and humility, traits that defined both his public image and private life. Within the lodge, Gable was known to be quiet, respectful, and deeply observant of ritual, often attending meetings when not filming. He participated in various Masonic charitable events and contributed anonymously to relief funds supporting veterans and orphans. His membership also connected him to a wide network of fellow entertainers who shared his sense of moral duty and community service. Though Gable rarely discussed Freemasonry publicly, records confirm his consistent involvement until his death. To him, Masonry represented the timeless principles of self-improvement and brotherhood that guided his behavior far beyond the silver screen. Nat King Cole, one of America's most influential jazz and pop vocalists, was a proud member of Thomas Waller Lodge No. 49, a Prince Hall-affiliated Masonic lodge in California. Prince Hall Freemasonry, established for African Americans during an era of segregation, emphasized education, equality, and social advancement, values that deeply resonated with Cole. He joined the fraternity in the late 1940s at the height of his musical fame, seeking a community rooted in brotherhood and service rather than celebrity. Within his lodge, Cole was known for humility and generosity, often donating to youth music programs and scholarship funds supported by Masonic organizations. He viewed Freemasonry as a means to uplift others through moral leadership and opportunity, principles he mirrored in his personal life and artistry. Despite facing racial barriers in Hollywood and the music industry, Cole maintained dignity and grace consistent with Masonic ideals of tolerance and moral strength. His legacy within Prince Hall Masonry remains a powerful example of how the fraternity's teachings inspired artistic excellence and social responsibility. Buzz Aldrin, the second man to walk on the moon, was a dedicated Freemason and lifelong advocate for the fraternity's values values of knowledge, discipline, and brotherhood. He was initiated into Clear Lake Lodge number 1417 in Seabrook, Texas, and later became an active member of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, a higher order branch emphasizing moral and intellectual development. Aldrin carried with him a special Masonic flag on the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, which he ceremonially took to the lunar surface, symbolically extending Freemasonry's principles of enlightenment and exploration beyond Earth. This act was approved by the Grand Lodge of Texas and remains one of the most unique Masonic gestures in history. For Aldrin, Freemasonry represented humanity's pursuit of truth and progress through reason and unity. His disciplined mindset, shaped by both science and Masonry, played a central role in his approach to the space program. Aldrin frequently credited Masonic teachings with reinforcing his belief that mankind's greatest mission is to expand knowledge while maintaining humility and moral balance. John Elway, legendary NFL quarterback and two-time Super Bowl champion, is a confirmed Freemason and long-standing member of the South Denver Lodge number 93 in Colorado. Elway's involvement with Freemasonry reflects his appreciation for structure, accountability, and teamwork, principles that closely mirror the discipline required in professional sports. Initiated during his post-playing career, Elway embraced the fraternity's emphasis on leadership through moral example rather than authority. He has participated in Masonic charity events across Colorado, particularly those benefiting youth mentorship and medical research. Elway's reputation for integrity both on and off the field made him a natural fit for the organization, which values honesty, perseverance, and service above personal recognition. Within the lodge, he is respected not for his fame, but for his willingness to contribute and learn like any other brother. His continued public support for Masonic causes, including hospital fundraisers and scholarship drives, demonstrates how the fraternity's principles have influenced his life beyond sports, transforming competition into community and personal success into shared responsibility. Richard Pryor, one of the most groundbreaking comedians in American history, was reportedly a member of Henry Brown Lodge number 22, part of the Prince Hall Masonic jurisdiction in Peoria, Illinois. His initiation occurred before his rise to stardom, during a period when he was still deeply rooted in his local community. Freemasonry, particularly within the Prince Hall tradition, offered Pryor a sense of brotherhood, discipline, and moral grounding, values that contrasted with the turbulence of his later celebrity life. The Masonic influence is subtly reflected in his career-long advocacy for truth-telling, social justice, and confronting hypocrisy, ideals consistent with Masonic teachings about integrity and enlightenment. Pryor's experiences within the fraternity provided him with a framework for reflection and personal accountability during his struggles with fame and addiction. He often expressed admiration for institutions that fostered mentorship and equality, both of which are central to Prince Hall Masonry. Though his public image was often controversial, his Masonic ties revealed a side of Pryor committed to moral growth, honesty, and community upliftment beyond the stage. Peter Sellers, the celebrated British actor and comedian best known for the Pink Panther and Dr. Strangelove, was a documented Freemason and member of Chelsea Lodge number 3098 in London. This lodge was unique. It catered specifically to men in the entertainment industry, including musicians, actors, and stage performers. Sellers was initiated in the early 1950s, during the height of his career with The Goon Show, and found in Freemasonry a sense of structure and moral grounding that contrasted with the unpredictability of show business. He valued the fraternity's emphasis on humility, ethics, and personal development through ritual and symbolism. Members of Chelsea Lodge often bonded over the idea that artistic creativity could align with spiritual discipline, an idea that deeply appealed to Sellers. Despite his fame, within the lodge he was treated as an equal, expected to memorize ritual passages, attend meetings, and contribute to charity events. His time in Freemasonry is remembered as one of the few stabilizing influences in a life otherwise marked by public pressure and private turmoil. Louis Armstrong, one of the most influential figures in jazz history, was a proud member of Montgomery Lodge number 18 of the Prince Hall Masons in New York. He joined during the 1930s, a time when racial segregation limited African Americans from joining mainstream lodges, making Prince Hall Freemasonry a crucial institution for Black leadership and solidarity. For Armstrong, Masonry represented dignity, discipline, and the pursuit of excellence, values that shaped both his music and his character. He participated in community projects organized by his lodge, helping fund scholarships and youth programs in Harlem. Armstrong often described music as a universal language of brotherhood, a concept that parallels Masonic philosophy emphasizing unity beyond class, race, or religion. His life mirrored the Masonic journey of self-improvement, rising from poverty in New Orleans to global stardom through perseverance and moral strength. Even during intense racial discrimination, Armstrong's calm confidence and optimism reflected Masonic virtues of tolerance, wisdom, and humility. His membership embodied the idea that true greatness is achieved not only through talent, but through integrity and compassion toward others. Count Basie, the legendary jazz pianist, bandleader, and composer, was an active and devoted Freemason, belonging to the Prince Hall Masonic fraternity in New York. His exact lodge affiliation is often cited as Wisdom Lodge number 102, though he was widely known across multiple Prince Hall chapters due to his extensive charitable work and leadership within the African American community. Basie joined during the 1940s, when his orchestra was one of the most influential in the world, bringing swing music to mainstream America. Through Masonry, he found a disciplined brotherhood that mirrored the structure and precision of a great jazz ensemble, every member working in harmony toward a higher purpose. Basie frequently performed at Masonic fundraising events and used his influence to support youth music education and hospital relief efforts. The fraternity's core teachings, harmony, balance, and moral refinement, resonated with Basie's musical philosophy of unity through rhythm. Even at the height of fame, he maintained humility, generosity, and quiet dignity, embodying the Masonic belief that a man's worth lies not in his status, but in the light he shares with others. Jesse Jackson, civil rights leader and founder of the Rainbow Push Coalition, is a long-standing member of Prince Hall Freemasonry in Chicago. Initiated during the height of the civil rights movement, Jackson viewed Masonry as a moral and philosophical extension of his activism, a structure that blended faith, discipline, and fraternity with social responsibility. Through the lodge, he found a community of educated, service-oriented men committed to uplifting their neighborhoods through education, charity, and leadership. The Masonic emphasis on equality and enlightenment aligned perfectly with Jackson's mission to promote justice and opportunity for all people, regardless of race or class. Over the decades, he has participated in Masonic scholarship drives, youth mentorship programs, and community development initiatives. Jackson has publicly praised Freemasonry for nurturing strong leadership among African Americans during times of segregation and oppression. His life of service and advocacy reflects Masonic values at their core: moral courage, truth, and brotherly love, proving that the fraternity's influence extends far beyond ritual, shaping leaders who dedicate their lives to light, knowledge, and human progress.